What's up guys, Intelitech Studios here, and today is the review of my Shark is it a Navigator? Shark Liftaway ZeroM. And this is apparently a lesser common model because all the ones that I see online are red. This one is blue, and I'm super happy that I have this blue one because this one looks so much nicer than the red, in my opinion anyways. But yeah, this is the model number, if I can see what the heck that says. It's model number, whatever that says, and it's really cool, and I actually like it. So that's yeah. I've been using this pretty recently. As you guys probably saw, I made a video where I got one of these, and the motor was not turning on, and Shark actually sent me a new motor assembly. And because this is a liftaway model, it was super easy. Just snap the head on, snap the wand on, snap on the hose, and then, pop on the dirt container, and that's it. So super simple to, swap out that part. And Shark, since it was within warranty, they sent me that new part completely for free, didn't even ask for any payment info. That's wonderful. I don't know if my experience is representative. However, it was a very, very good experience with Shark's customer service, and I'm very happy that it turned out good because this vacuum is actually a pleasantly, surprisingly good vacuum. That's not proper grammar, but you get the point. So, the original cleaner head, unfortunately, is like really clouded up with just gunk, and because of Shark's amazingly, wonderfully serviceable design for their cleaner heads, it is impossible to get this thing cleaned out, which is wonderful. So that's at least one thing I can complain about. So it's pretty easy to complain about the fact that I can't really clean this all that well, and these machines are not very well serviceable. I mean, that's always been true about Sharks, but it's just kind of more annoying when it's a more expensive machine. This isn't the most expensive Shark I've ever had. I actually just sold my powered liftaway, and that's the one where it has the lift-away section that you can pull off, and the brush will still turn. You can essentially use it as a fully fledged powerhead canister vacuum, and those even have, like touch controls for the, not touch, but handle controls for the power and brush and stuff. So those are always really nice. But this one has ZeroM, which I really like because it means the brush roll doesn't get tangled. I've been using this, and as you can see, the brush is not tangled. It's a little bit dirty, but it's not tangled. There's not a bunch of hair and crap tangled up in it. So that's really good. Now, you see this big bin full of dirt, and you think, oh, that's great. It's cleaning up really well, right? Well, this is actually kind of a complaint that I have with this. And a complaint that I have with this is the fact that you see this bin? This bin is already really small, right? Only this much is what you actually get for the dirt. Just this little bit down here, which is that big, and then this little bit up to about here, which is where the max fill line is. That's so little space. Now, it is bagless, so obviously you can just empty it more often as opposed to having to buy tiny bags. But still, like, the fill line's right there, and this does not have a very big dirt container. So that's one thing that's kind of annoying. Another thing that's annoying about this, when you compare it to older Sharks, is that older Sharks had multiple cyclones. They were completely multicyclonic. A lot of them had, like, I think the original Sharks had like 24 cyclones. They were very similar to the Infinity series, which of course Infinity later became Shark. And, but this doesn't have that. If you take off the cyclone assembly, you can see that that filter is already a little bit dirty. Now, it's not bad. Like, it's just a little bit, and you can see where the little section kind of, or where the dirt container actually kind of imprints into the filter. And this is a two-layer filter, I believe. I believe there's a filter underneath this. Yes, there is. There's a little pattern underneath this. And you got these two little filters, and those protect the motor. And the bin goes on right here. This is really annoying how this bin doesn't, it's really annoying to line this up correctly. And whenever you don't line it up correctly, it will just like not seal in properly, or I've had it where they would click up here, but it wouldn't seal down here. So then when I turn it on, it would have like weak suction for a bit until it snaps back into place by itself. So that's just kind of a really odd design flaw. But beyond that, you have your post motor filter up here. Pretty easy to get to, pretty self-explanatory. I believe that's a HEPA filter. Of course, it's Shark, so it's a sealed system. At least it's supposedly a sealed system. And since the motor assemblies are placed on this, I'm pretty sure it is a sealed system. So it probably has the best filtration out of any vacuum that I own, which isn't saying much because I have a lot of low-quality budget machines. Speaking of low quality and budget, another thing that I hate, absolutely cannot stand about this vacuum, is this vacuum costs like $300, right? And they couldn't spend like an extra, $10 and put like a decent sized cord on it, because this has a 25-foot cord. This has the exact same length of cord as my $60 Powerforce Helix Turbo. And that's kind of a problem because this is $300. This is a $300 vacuum. So that's really annoying. But beyond that, like, I've been using this to clean. I've pretty much just been using this as a canister vacuum. Just kind of whenever I'm cleaning up another vacuum, I've pretty much just been using this to clean up after it. And so that's why it's full of dirt. And one last complaint. There's only one tool hook on this. And this is the only tool that I have for it, so at least that kind of worked out. But obviously the normal Shark Navigator tools would fit on here just fine, like the one from my other lift away that I still have. And but you only have one hook. And unlike the other lift away, you could attach your tool down here. You can't do it on this one. You only have one hook. I almost thought that the hook was missing, but no, they only gave you one hook. And when this thing was new, I believe it came with that tool, a combination crevice tool dusting brush like all of the Dysons have, and a floor tool. And only one of them can fit on board, which is really irritating. But in this case, it's the only tool that I have, so it fits on board, and it looks, at least it looks right. So, yeah. The only real other thing that I can complain about, or actually no, compliment about this, is that this is the first ZeroM Shark that I've had, and my other powered lift away was the first powered lift away that I've owned. But all the other Sharks that I've had were the purple style Navigator liftaways. And I've featured them multiple times on my channel, and I even still have 2 of them right now. I've owned 5 of those over the years, and every single one of them had an issue where the balance was off. Like the build quality regarding the balance of the machine was just not balanced right. So on this thick carpet, the vacuum would fall over all the time. Now with this machine, they fixed that. As you can see, it stands up just fine. And the actual center of gravity is fixed on this one, so that way it's not unbalanced to the point where it's going to yank the vacuum over when you try to use it or try to set it up anywhere. So that's one thing that's nice. A lot of people complain about the switch, and yeah, it's kind of annoying, but I still would rather have this switch. I'd rather have this switch on the bottom where a foot switch would be instead of having a foot switch, because that's how much I don't like foot switches. Because at least with this, you can actually tell that it's properly, in the right position. And as you can see, it has obviously off the section for hard floor and for carpet. So obviously the brush roll reacts accordingly. And I have yet to use this on hard floors. But one thing that I love about this is that it actually has rubber coated wheels, which is very rare on vacuums nowadays. None of the Dysons have that. None of the Phantoms have that. The only vacuum I can think of that has rubber coated wheels other than like a Riccar or Simplicity is the Amway Clear Track had rubber coated wheels, I believe. And that's just something that's really nice. And I was hoping that the hard floor setting would work good on my low pile rug that I have in my room, the little one that I got from Big Lots. But the problem is, because you can't adjust the height, even on the lower setting, it just sucks to the floor and you can't move it at all. Now, one thing that I didn't even think about is that this actually has a suction relief valve up here, and I haven't tried that. So maybe I'll try that, and maybe that will fix the issue with that rug. And if that's the case, then I'll use this as pretty much the vacuum to clean my small rug, because you do have a suction release valve right here on the machine, which is very handy. So beyond that, there's not much else I can really complain and or compliment about this thing. I love the blue color, but I mean, that's just me. Obviously, most people would probably prefer the red color, and the red color does appear to be much more common. So it seems like if you get one of these, it's probably going to be red. I don't even know if these blues like a special edition run. I don't know, but I really like it. So yeah, really not much else to say about this. It's a pretty decent machine. It's easily the best Shark that I've ever owned, and it's actually a pretty decent vacuum. So Shark has finally pretty much won me over, if you can say that. I know I've had a lot of people get mad at me for not liking Sharks, but I do legitimately enjoy this one, and I am definitely keeping this one if I can help it. So yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and give this a run real quick. One other thing to note is that a lot of other reviewers have commented on the sound and said that it sounds loud, although to me it sounds very quiet. So I don't know if like they did some sort of revision or what. I don't have an actual like sound tester, that measures the decibels and everything, but in my experience, this is, well, pretty decently quiet. I mean, it's not, don't get me wrong, you're not going to vacuum, in your newborn son's room while he's sleeping, but it's not loud, at least to me, it doesn't sound loud to me. It's a bit of a high-pitched whiny noise. And honestly, I don't like the fact that out of the box, a lot of Shark motors honestly sound like motors that are dying. Maybe that's why the motors die so often, because they use motors that are actually dying, and that's why they sound like that. But I mean, there's nothing about the sound that sounds unnecessarily harsh to me. It just kind of sounds like, oh, it's just a weird sounding motor. And, it's just, we're just so used to like all the cheap vacuums that have like the ring, the kind of like, super low amperage, high pitched whiny motors that, you're almost like numb to whenever this pretty much has the same sort of motor. So, yeah, that's pretty much my review on the Shark Liftaway ZeroM. It's a vacuum and it works, and I do recommend it. There's not really much else that I can think of as far as features and stuff like that. Again, it does all sorts of stuff. The like I said, the cord being short is an issue. Oh, also the hose has the same issue that a lot of vacuums have, where whenever you retract the hose, Also, it's got this little thing that clips in to keep the hose out of the way, which is nice. When the hose retracts, it yanks the machine towards you very violently, so you just got to be careful. If the airflow gets blocked and you have the machine next to you, it's going to hit you. You should just brace yourself for that. So, also, this hose isn't as long as some other vacuums, but with the lift away function, I don't think that's the biggest deal in the world. And the hose feels like it is sturdier than a lot of earlier Sharks because, I have like a Navigator lift away that has split hoses all over. This hose feels like it's a higher quality hose that hopefully won't be susceptible to the same sort of issues. And because this isn't like the older Navigators where it has like that hose that's right here that can rip and crack through, it just goes straight down. That's one less hose to worry about. So that's nice. It's nice to see that Shark actually kind of updated that design and made it better. So yeah, that's pretty much my review on the Shark Liftaway ZeroM. I keep wanting to call it the Navigator, but I don't think it's called the Navigator. I'll look up the stupid model number. I can never remember this stuff. Anyways, this is Intelitech Studios signing out. I'll see you guys in the next video. And yeah, if you're gonna buy a Shark and you really want to buy a Shark, then I guess check out one of these. I had always said that I wanted to check out one of the ZeroM models, and for some reason I said ZeroM when what I meant to say was Duo Clean because I wanted to try one of those machines with the soft rollers. But a lot of the Duo Clean machines are also ZeroM. So if I could get my hands on one of the Sharks that have ZeroM and the Duo Clean, I think that would truly be a winner. Because to have a brush roll that doesn't have issues with tangling like this does, which is fantastic, and I guess I kind of glossed over that, even though that's the flagship feature of this vacuum, isn't it? Yeah, so the brush roll doesn't tangle, so that's really cool. And again, when I got it, it clearly wasn't well taken care of, and the brush roll had nothing tangled in it, so that clearly appears to hold true. And if I could get one of the ones with the Duo Clean with that roller, added to the front of it, I think that would be a winner because you have both of those combinations. And I think that's really good. I'm very glad that Shark is doing some more stuff in the industry and actually doing some innovations and bringing stuff to the table instead of just making, crappy Dyson clones. So, that's something that I'm very happy about to see. I really like to see innovations in any industry, whether it's phones, computers, vacuum cleaners, cars, whatever. I enjoy seeing technology increase and innovate as time goes on. And the fact that Shark's doing stuff like that is really, really cool. So I cannot wait until I eventually get my hands on one of those ZeroM, or not Zero, well, ZeroM Dual Clean models. And Shark, if you're watching this video and you want to send me one, hit me up. Because I would like to check out one of those, but obviously they're too expensive for me to buy. But that seems like something that would be really interesting to check out. And if you have one of these ZeroM machines, then drop it in the comments below what your experience with it was. And I guess there's not really much else I can talk about. So yeah, that's the Shark Navigator ZeroM full review. And I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully this was helpful. And now maybe I should have ran it on floors first before you know what? I guess we'll do that right now. Why don't we just do that right now? All right, let's run this on floors. Let's see how this does. Maybe this will be good. Maybe it won't be good. And look at it. The problem I mentioned with this cord. See that? Awful. Let's try it on floors. So yeah, this works very, very nicely on floors. So this is one of the few sort of upright vacuums that I can really recommend if you have a decent amount of hard floors, because not only with the speeds of the motors, but those rubber coated wheels make all the difference. So I really wish that there were more machines out there that didn't gloss over the feature of having rubber coated wheels, because there's no disadvantage to it, even if you never use it on hard floors extensively. If you if you like if you set it outside, or if you ever set it on any sort of hard surface that's scratching up the wheels and causing damage to the machine, and potentially, getting particles stuck in there that can get, or stuck on the wheels that can cause damage to your floors. There's just Rubber coated wheels are clearly something that should be taken more seriously as far as an option on vacuum cleaners in any price range, let alone in premium price ranges like this machine. So again, if you like canisters, maybe obviously the powered lift away is probably going to be a better option, but this obviously still works well as like a suction canister. But if you have a lot of hard floors and you're just desperately trying to find a vacuum that works good for it, then this is a pretty good option. And it's much better than any Dyson or Phantom that I can really think of, because you don't have to resort to using some sort of attachment because of, obviously not wanting to scratch your floors and not working well on floors. So, obviously people do tests with like big particles and stuff, but most of that stuff doesn't really happen in natural situations on floors. So, and of course if it does, you still have the hose. So yeah, there's not really much else I can say about this other than I'm actually pleasantly surprised by it, and I definitely recommend it. I didn't recommend the last lift away that I did, the purple one, unless the caveat of you have a lot of carpets and you and the issues that I had with the machine didn't affect you. But this is a machine where the issues that I had with it actually, you know, doesn't is normal, like within the acceptable range of what I would think is okay for a vacuum in this price range. And I think it's kind of funny how I think Shark is actually now potentially, possibly starting to outdo Dyson in their own space, which I think is pretty crazy, because what would be competing with this would probably be something along the lines of like the Dyson Light Ball or something like that, because this has a swivel steering and the bagless and all that stuff, and adjustable head, or non auto adjusting head. So that's yeah. And I have yet to use one of those, but I've seen the issues that those machines tend to have. So this would likely be a better choice. For again, with the exception of the cord, because Dysons always have really nice long cords. This doesn't. Yeah, extension cords exist, but it's a pain. Anyways, I'm probably just repeating myself at this point. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And hopefully this video was somewhat useful and not just me rambling for 24 minutes. Well, I guess it could have been both. But anyway, guys, this is Untitled Tech Studio signing out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I got a ton more videos coming up, so stay tuned. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.